All right, welcome. Just getting things coordinated here so that we are live on Instagram and we are now live on Facebook as well. And I want to welcome you. This is our Q&A time together. And what we're going to be doing over the next 30 minutes or so, we may go a little bit over time, is we've had a number of questions that have come in. And these questions have been, let me just get that off my screen there. These questions are related to manifesting. And quite often we see the very same type of questions, really valuable questions. So if there's some part of you that has been struggling for a period of time, maybe a long period of time, perhaps even years, I really would suggest two things. One, listen up, because some of the questions, I was looking at them before we started today, are so incredible, so exceptional, that it's probably not a question that you have, but I know you're going to gain value from that. The other thing that I want to suggest is we started something about a week ago, actually, and it's called Club Achieve. And Club Achieve was started because the real difference that can occur in your life, where you really begin to live the life that you would love, the life that you have imagined consistently, the life that you just dream about, or you may even believe at some level that it's possible for you. Because it is, it's absolutely possible for you. The reason why more people aren't enjoying the life that they love or the dream life that they'd really enjoy experiencing is because they don't stay consistent. And how you get to that point of really experiencing success at a whole new level is when you are involved in daily study, understanding, and application. And so we created Club Achieve just for that. So if any of you that are watching right now are not yet a member, get your butt over to clubachieve.com right now and sign up. You can sign up for a month, you can sign up for the whole year. We've had many people sign up for the whole year. They know how important it is, they know how valuable it's going to be for them. The feedback has been off the charts for Club Achieve, and what I mean by that is they love it. They absolutely love it. And I know it's going to make a big difference when you follow through. Okay, we're going to get started here. We have Roddy with us right now, I believe. Roddy, are you with us? Yes, he's with us. Of course he's with us. He's always with us. And we are going to, we've had a number of questions that have been submitted in advance on our social media sites. And so we're going to go to those first. The first question that we have, hello Don, good to see you. The first question that we have here is from Tally. And Tally is asking the following question. All right, great. Okay, I see another one has come in from Hara. Thank you. Okay, we'll get to those questions a little bit. My concern has to do with multiple manifestations, multiple ideas, projects, businesses, dreams, multiple goals that somehow interlink but are independent as well. How do we manage with multiple goal cards and a script that is so long because of all the details of each idea and dream? It is beyond 25 pages long and very long recording. How do I manage with the multiple issue? I feel like I'm doing something wrong, like I'm missing something, and my paradigm is literally putting me to sleep every time I get close to changing it. Okay, your paradigm doesn't have any control over you unless you give it control. In your question, you're saying you're giving your paradigm the control. Stop that. You're in control of what you think. Don't think something else. Yes, it's a part of you, but don't think something else. I'm going to give you advice on focus in a minute as well. All right, it amazes me every time it happens, so I fight by staying awake through the lectures, videos, re-adding, and writing as long as I can. I have to walk to wake up. Thank you. Wishing you a happy and successful day. Thank you, Tally. You as well. Okay, so when you have multiple dreams, and there is nothing wrong with having multiple dreams. We can have as many dreams as we want. We can have as many goals as we want. But what you do want to do is create a greater sense of focus. So when we're thinking about someone, you, everyone that's listening, you that has already accomplished the things that you've set for yourself, what I'd like you to be sure that you're working on is, who is that person? What is the identity of that person? This is a preceding step in manifestation. You must, as you've heard, act as if. So let's take this a little bit further. Acting as if means you must feel as if you already are the person that you desire to be. So, what is that person? Who is that person? How would you define them? How would you describe them? So, what you can do, Tally, is take this back to basics. Okay, I would do the following. Rewrite your Power Life script. Leave the 25-page thing alone. Create a shorter version, right? You can condense it into a shorter version. Plus, I would get one goal card, one card. Now, you can combine a couple cards in there. For example, let's say that you want to be in a happy, healthy relationship, be a healthy person, and be earning a certain amount of money. Well, that could be 3 goals for one person. So how would you write it? I am happily married. I'm a happy, healthy, happily married multimillionaire who is easily earning blah, blah. Okay, and there you've just multiplied. You've managed to merge a number of goals into one statement. And that'll have you accomplishing many things at one time. Also, I'd be cautious, and I suspect you haven't done this, but for the sake of others who are listening, I would be cautious as far as how much detailed description are you putting in your Power Life script. The description should only be something that creates the outcome of what you desire as if it's vividly real. Okay, as if it's vividly real, so that you see it, you feel it, and you're using your imagination to do it. You're writing it in the present tense and that kind of thing. So create a greater sense of focus on the person who has already accomplished the goals that you've set for yourself, and you're definitely going to accomplish them. Okay, so put it back to basics and start there, start fresh, restart. I mean, every day is a brand new opportunity. Every minute is a new opportunity. We can forget what's gone on in the past, focus on what you would love right now, become emotionally involved in it, feeling and knowing that it's already done. And this is how you manifest. Sounds simple enough, and it is simple enough. The challenge is when you allow old paradigms to pull you back or fight you, because they will. Your paradigms are strong. They're embedded within you. They're a part of you. They're a part of your subconscious mind. So in order for you to change that, you've got to give concentrated attention to a new version of who you are. This identity of being this person who is already accomplishing what you desire. So invest some time working on that, and you're going to find it's going to make a big difference. Thank you, Dawn. I like that you're saying that. Okay, the next question is from Regina. And here's the question. If our thoughts and feelings create our reality, it is also us that create our adversity. True. Absolutely true. Oh, is it also us that create our adversity? Yes, absolutely. I'm going to read you something that we were studying this morning in Club Achieve. And the second question is, when we think and act like the person we want to become and the paradigm fights us, what is the quickest way to stop it? All right, I'm going to answer the second question first, and then I'm going to go to something that we studied today in Club Achieve that's going to address your first question, even though I've answered your first question with a yes answer, but I'll expand on it. So number 2, the second question that Regina had asked is, what is the quickest way to manage the paradigm? What you're really looking to do is to override the paradigm. You want to cloud out the old way of being, the old thoughts, the old feelings, and crowd them out. Not cloud them out, crowd them out. And how you do that is with a focused attention on only what you desire. So it can be accomplished in a variety of ways. And you can do this by asking yourself a more empowering question. So the moment you start to feel this isn't working, I'm not getting the results I want, or I'm never going to get there, or you start to feel fearful or something like that, stop yourself in that instant. You know consciously, you have common sense, and this is really common sense. You have common sense enough to know, is this helping me? Is this hurting me? Is this thought helping me, or is this thought hurting me? Is this feeling helping me, or is this feeling hurting me? When you know it's not, because it's a destructive thought or a fearful thought or a worry thought or a guilt thought or some other thoughts, procrastination or anxiety or whatever it happens to be, you know that's not helping you. You know it. So you want to stop it. You want to get re-inspired. So there's a number of ways to accomplish this. Asking yourself a question. What would I really love? right? As soon as you start thinking about what you don't want, you start thinking about the sales aren't there, you start thinking about the results aren't in, you start thinking about the debt load, and you don't know where the money's going to come from. What are you doing? You're giving attention to what you don't want. You're giving your attention to debt and lack. And that's not what you want to have in your life. So what would I love? Well, I'd love to be, financially prosperous, multimillionaire. Okay, what does that feel like? So it's not just, it's really a 3-step process, okay? And write this down so that you're doing it. One is you ask yourself, so that the method of stopping the paradigms from fighting you is to ask yourself, what would I love? And then you connect to what you would love. You start thinking, you're using your imagination. Second thing is, then you say, well, what does it feel like now that I have that? And you begin to really feel it. And the third part is embrace that emotional state. That emotional state being the state you would be in were you to have accomplished that. That's what you do. And this really ties in well to what we were talking about earlier, the act as if principle. You're feeling it. You're walking around going, yay, even though there may not be any evidence of it in sight. It's like lack of evidence is not evidence of lack. It's not evidence of lack. You see, it's all created. So back to the first question that Regina had asked, does this mean that we're creating everything in our life? And the answer is absolutely. Now, I know that's a bit of a challenge for a lot of people to realize, is that they are creating, every single part, every single aspect of their life. And as a result of that, then they realize that, oh my goodness, I am attracting this. So the whole of creation exists in you and is your destiny to become increasingly aware of its infinite wonders and to experience even greater and greater and greater and grander portions of it. So creation is finished and all events are taking place now. Actually, this is for tomorrow's class. I was preparing for today. The question that springs naturally is what determines your time track? What determines your time track? This is what determines events that you encounter. And here's his answer. His answer is, I think you're going to love this, the answer is your concept of self. And that's a common theme that you'll find in this particular book, The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. It's the concept you have of yourself. So even though you may have attracted situations or events, experiences into your life that haven't been enjoyable or desirable, they're in the past. So you can look at those situations and just say, oh, isn't that interesting that I attracted that? You may or may not even have an answer as to why you attracted it, but I'll tell you what you have. Every one of you has this. You have a new moment. You have an ability to make a decision. You can make choices. You can make choices all day long. You can be making the same choices all day long. But most people aren't giving their conscious attention to what they want. They're giving their conscious attention to what they don't want. And they're thinking about what they don't want. And they're fearful of what they don't want. And when what they don't want shows up in their life, they're like, see, I knew it, of course, because that's what you believed. And people will argue with you. People who are not into these materials will argue with you because their belief is set in a very certain way that they have no flexibility or no opening to change it, right? To look at it in a different way, to evaluate or reevaluate how they're living their life, how you're choosing your life. Like I remember Bob Proctor saying this at one of his events, because Bob Proctor was madly in love with these materials, as I am. And, oh, thank you. I love you guys too. And Bob Proctor loved teaching the materials so much. And he did it for many, many, many years, as you know, decades. And he said this one time. He said, if I could put all this knowledge in a syringe and stick it in your butt, I would do it, right? And the point is that, Bob was a phenomenal teacher. And his purpose on this earth was to enlighten others, to inspire others to greatness, to do more than what they've been doing, to create more of what they desired, as is mine. And fortunately, I met him over 43 years ago and set my course of direction in a wonderful way from applying what I was learning. But the point is that the way that you get to a place of deep understanding is through study. You've got to study. And even though you may ask the same question, and I know I had done that myself many years ago, you may end up asking the same question over and over again, or wondering about a certain way of being or a strategy or whatever that may be over and over again. You may hear the answer. You may read the answer. You may be told the answer directly to your face. But if your paradigm's set that that is not going to be your experience of success, or that it's not going to be your experience of manifesting what you desire, it doesn't matter what's coming into your ear or into your senses, you will likely reject it. Your paradigms become so strong. So when you take conscious control over your life, you do that by deciding what you're going to think about, by choosing the emotions that you're going to engage in, by being such a serious student that you're involved in this every single day. And I absolutely recommend that you do that. All right, the next question is from Nancy Potter. When a person you love is upsetting you, by the way, nobody upsets you unless you give them permission. So this other person is not upsetting you. You are allowing yourself to be upset. How do you write about him in your gratitude journal in the morning? It's not that you don't love him, but at the same time, you're not feeling kindly toward him. I know the idea is to feel the gratitude as you write it down, so how do I do this? I guess I should add him that day to the people I send love to that bother me. Sure, absolutely. You're in control of how you feel, always in all ways. So when you're saying that you're not connecting to the feeling of actual gratitude, of feeling grateful for him, that's your choice. You're in control of that. So what if you did feel grateful for him? What if you looked at the scenario or the situation in another way? What if you changed your perception of that? You know, Nancy, in our class, I think it was yesterday, it might have been the day before, when we were studying in Club Achieve, which you're a member, I believe. In that class, we talked about the chapter on attitude, Neville Goddard in The Power of Awareness. And one of the things that he suggested is, and I'll just summarize it, is change the way you look at someone, right? Look at them differently. Look at them with love. Look at them with warmth. Look at them with kindness. And that's going to change the relationship that you have with them as well. Whether they did something that was wrong or not, whether it's justifiable that you were upset, let it go. And I'm not saying that people aren't going to get upset. They do. They do get upset, but you got to let it go, and you got to become really good at letting it go. And you know why? Because harboring any bad feelings toward another hurts you. It absolutely hurts you. Not hurting them, it's hurting you. And you don't want to do that. So love is the answer for sure. And in your question, you actually had the answer there too. Send them love, send them love. And choose to feel gratitude for them, regardless of whether you may have been upset. Just let that go. Choose to feel love, and you're going to find it'll make a big difference for you. Okay, our next question is from Vitaly. Good afternoon, dear Peggy. Thank you so much for your precious time and love which you invest in us every week. I have a question to ask. My mother is sick often, and unfortunately she does not really understand yet the laws of the universe and how to cooperate with them. What is the best way to visualize health and abundance for her? What else can be done? Thank you so much. Much love. All right. Love this question. So I'm going to give you a couple suggestions. One is for you to see that. So you see her as healthy and vibrant and feeling great. All right. That's the picture that you're going to have in your mind. You might even include it in your Power Life script. Okay, but you see it, like even close your eyes and see her. There's been a time, I'm sure, when your mom was healthy and vibrant and energetic, and go back to that time in your mind and connect to it and feel it and really see it as well. So give it energy. And then the other thing is to create a script in your Power Life script. Add a little section about how healthy she is, and do not mention anything other than healthy, vibrant, energetic, only the things that you want to focus on. So you wouldn't say she's no longer sick, all right? You wouldn't say that at all. You would just see her as you would love to see her. And then another suggestion is she open to being healthy again? And if so, what you may want to do is you may want to perhaps create an audio, you talking to her about how healthy she is and how, wonderfully vibrant she is, and just give her a suggestion. How about if you listen to this every single day? You can do that for her or play that for her. It's easy because all she'd have to do is push play. See if she's open to that kind of thing. Now, I suspect she would be, because I can't imagine anyone who's unhealthy wanting to stay there. Although, I remember one time hearing, when I was studying psychology back in the 90s, I remember one time hearing that, sometimes, and I don't think this is the case for your mom, but some people, they actually get sick frequently because they love the attention, and they believe that's their way of getting significance, right? Of attracting, the love and attention of others, when in fact, it's not a great way to go about it. But they've become accustomed to doing it that way and may have very well learned it as a young child. I remember there was a girl that lived in our neighborhood when I was young, when I was growing up, living at my parents' house, and this girl was always sick. And I remember she used to get a lot of attention from being sick. And she was one of, I think, 3 children. And whenever she got sick, she got her parents' attention. And so that was her way of getting attention and feeling the love. And she finally realized there's a pattern here. And so she decided to, make a change. And she chose health and made a decision that she's no longer going to see herself being unhealthy and only going to focus on a healthy version of who she was. So she turned things around for herself. Okay, our next question is from Candida. I love this question. Another great one. The question is, can we manifest for the needs of other family members or only for ourselves? I would say absolutely. Absolutely. Because you're giving out energy, right? Now, what I would suggest is whatever it is that you're intending on manifesting for another, ensure that it's something they would love, something that they would enjoy, something that they also have a desire for. Or it could be that your desire for another is like an easy decision, that what you're focusing on is wonderful health or prosperity or, success. And obviously, or you would assume, obviously they would want that. And so, yeah, you can declare that, you can claim that, you can affirm that, and have them experiencing greater and greater success, for sure. All right, a couple more questions have just come in, and the next one is from Renee. When your mind is always having thoughts and you can't shut them off, what is the best way to have a moment of quiet asking for guidance? All right, so this is really something that takes practice. So Renee, I understand what you're saying because I have a very active mind and I'm high energy, so there's lots going on. So to get quiet, you can do some breathing to do so, or use a guided meditation. Like we have one that we created for our Skipping Levels members, and it's one that I know Vladdy uses, I believe Roddy uses as well, I use as well every single day. And by having the guided meditation, I find that it gives your attention to what you're hearing. And, if it has music with it as well, have you relaxing. And if you're guided through taking in deep breaths, you're taking these breaths. So I would suggest you do that, because that's going to help you develop the habit. Another way to quiet your mind, and this was a suggestion that Bob Proctor had a number of years ago, and I really love this suggestion, is to either do one of two things. Either put a dot on the wall across from you and then choose to stare at it for a predetermined period of time. And you could start with a short amount of time, maybe 2 minutes, and start with that, and then keep practicing until you build up the amount of time that you're investing looking at the dot on the wall. Another suggestion is to watch a flame. So you light a candle. You do this safely, of course, but you light a candle and you stare at the flame. And so how you can do it is use your phone as a timer and set a predetermined amount of time. Start with something that's very easy for you to do, like just a couple minutes, and then increase it over time. And you may want to decide or determine like times during the day, predetermined times during the day where you're going to do this, where you're going to dedicate the time. So maybe it's 7 a.m., 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. You're going to dedicate just a few minutes every day to concentrate your attention on being quiet or just being more relaxed, closing your eyes maybe and listening to a meditation or listening to music or listening to the sound of nature. I mean, there's so many wonderful apps that are out there as well. Or you use it to light a candle and you stare at the flame, or you use the dot on the wall like Bob used to suggest. But those are ways of quietening your mind and centering your attention. You can also use a vision board, by the way. That was another idea that I had. All right, and then we have Kishone is saying, how can I stop letting my mind wander and start drifting to things that do not serve me? I really want to stay focused on my goals. Okay, so this is very similar to a couple other questions, and I love this question because it's a common question that we receive all the time. And so you've got to get really good at this as well. So I call this a switching technique. So here's what you do. You want to be ready with your process of switching away from what you don't want over to what you do want. So the first thing is just decide I'm going to be aware. I'm going to be aware of any thoughts or any feelings that are not in harmony with what I desire. And so the moment your mind starts drifting off to something that's fearful, what do? You notice and you stop yourself. Just say, I'm shutting this down right now. I am not going to continue to go down that road because that road is disaster. And it's like if there were two roads to go down and one was, one road would just take you off a cliff and it wouldn't be pretty, or the other road would take you to your destiny. Obviously, you're going to go the right way. You don't want to go down the road that's going to take you off the cliff. And that's what happens when people start to give attention to negativity, right? It's like they're going off a cliff and it doesn't get pretty. It gets worse, in fact. So have the awareness to notice, make a decision you're going to switch, and then switch. And earlier I was answering the question and I said, use a very powerful forward question to put yourself back on track. And now there's many different switching techniques, but here's one of them. One is to ask yourself, what would I love? What would I love? What would I love? And when you answer that question, what I would love, then you think about, okay, what does that feel like now that I have it? So what have you done? You put the brakes on going down the road to devastation. You put the brakes on, you backed up, and you started going down the other road. Now you're going down the road to your destiny because now you're seeing and feeling and connecting to that emotional state of, this is already done. I'm already there. Like, I am celebrating now. So that's the idea. In the most simplistic way of explaining it, you want to get out of the road or get off the road of devastation and get onto the road of your destiny. Okay, and you want to do it as fast as humanly possible, because every moment you give energy to what you don't want, you are creating it. And that's why earlier when the question was asked, are we manifesting everything in our lives? Yeah. Sometimes it's conscious, sometimes it's unconscious. Our beliefs are so firmly embedded within us. You got to understand that it's going to take an enormous amount of effort to change them if they're not serving you. All right, it's like muscles that aren't being used. You've got to work them, you've got to use them, you've got to build them, and not just once in a while. It has to be a daily thing, absolutely every single day. You want to commit your life to this. And when you commit your life to this, what happens is your life is going to get better and better and better. And then you'll realize that, oh my goodness, I've got this power within me to manifest anything I want. And when you begin to manifest these extraordinary things in your life, events, experiences, you're going to find that, oh my goodness, it may surprise you, it may not surprise you, but you'll realize that the power was always there, always there. You've got this gift and you're not any different than anybody else. You've got the power within you to manifest anything that you want in your life, but most people are completely unaware of that. And just as many people are, and there might even be more that are aware of that, but they're doing nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. And so they'll sit there and they'll complain and they'll blame, and it's somebody else's fault that their life is like that. And I know I'm not criticizing or judging, because that's the way my life was like many, many years ago. And the only reason why today I'm experiencing the wonderful life that I am is because of the work that's gone on, and that I continue to do absolutely every single day. So this is really what you want to do. So get into Club Achieve, clubachieve.com. We'd love to have you join us there. It's a study group that we are dedicated to every day of the week except Saturday and Sunday. So we're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Of course, we suggest our members continue to study on the weekends because it doesn't mean that it's not a great time to study. It's a perfect time to study. And what you'll find is that by being in the study and then by having the understanding that you develop a greater sense of awareness. Your consciousness expands. And when your consciousness expands and you're reaching that level of understanding, then you're going to understand, okay, well, now I know how to live it. Now I know how to be the source of what I desire. Now I know how to express the greater and grander version of who I am, who was always there. That person was always there. That ability was always there. And don't get upset at yourself that you haven't been manifesting what you'd love, up to this point. Just give thanks. Be in a state of gratitude. Be joyful that now you understand it and now you're going to do something about it. And it's really important that you do. All right. So it is time to wrap up our Q&A call for today. We're going to be back next week. It won't be Wednesday though, because I actually have a class on Wednesday. It'll likely be on Thursday. We're going to be back with you for our next open Q&A call. All right, everyone. Oh, I like it. What Vladdy wrote on Facebook. Energy flows where the focus goes. Absolutely. Pay attention when you shift away from abundance. That's so true. So thank you, Vladdy. Thank you for being here. What time does the study group take place and the cost to join, says Christy. Okay, you know what you really need to look at is what's the cost not to join. It's $197 a month. It's very inexpensive. We meet every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for the month, except for holidays, and it's me or my team, all right? And you can join for the year and save yourself 2 months. I suggest you join for the year and stay in it year after year after year. I will tell you this, the reason why I'm experiencing the success and have manifested the many things that I've manifested in my life is because of the study and the understanding and the application. So we created Club Achieve for that purpose, to be in the study, expanding your awareness, expanding your knowledge, and then giving you the understanding of what does this really mean for you, and then how do you apply it. It's an absolute no-brainer decision in my mind. Everybody should be a member of Club Achieve, and you're going to find that it's exceedingly valuable. The responses that we've been receiving from the participants have been wonderful. And of course, as you know, Dynamic Destinies, the business that I incorporated in 1994, is created to serve you, to help you, to have you experience what you desire, to get away from what you don't want, and to stop self-sabotaging, which is what most people do, and to begin to create in a more productive and positive way. All right. So thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you. Hey, Sue, good to see you as well. I think it's your son's birthday today, so happy birthday to him. I think I saw that on Facebook. All right. We'll see you guys again real soon. Okay. Bye-bye for now.